Greetings from Atolia, I'm Lord Bones, and what you are seeing in front of you now is the Adventure map, which was created in Voxel Sniper on a Cleanroom world, meaning the world goes bedrock, stone, dirt, and then a hell of a lot of water, and a significant part of the game will be underwater. That's the reason why water level is 64. Now, this video here should be a tutorial on how you should do such a thing in order to be able to build land up. If you've already seen my Voxel Splice video, there should be an annotation line to skip the beginning bit, which has already been taught to you. Right, I've made a decision based on the height of my map and the fact that the detail down here will actually be recognised. So I'm using WorldEdit a little bit. So I'm going to grab my wand and just select the block behind me, which is left click. I'm going to go down here and select another block to where I want the little peak to be. Now I'm going to go a bit further back as well, because obviously the land is going to be here. Oh god, let's try to new land. My server's crapping out on me. Right, let's select here, shall we? Yeah, that's enough. 47. No, 47,000 is probably going to be a bit too much, because I'm going to expand this up. So I'm going to go to about here and then expand this 30 up. Let's try that. That's quite a few blocks, but my server should be able to handle it. I'm going to replace water with dirt. Oh dear, that was really wrong then. Replace water with dirt like that, and now wait for my server to process that. So give it a moment. Ooh, that's 30 layers up. Was there. So now it's 30 layers up. I'm going to contract the selection 29 up. So now that there puts it on 2 layers only, I think. Yeah, region contracted that much, yep. So now I'm going to expand it up by 30 up, and do the same again. Place water, dirt. Should have placed dramatically less, because most of it will be air. And now I'm going to grab my wand, and I think what I'll do first is I'll melt this landscape in a bit. So I'll type in BE melt, and that does this. Oh god. Why is that so square? Because right, okay, got it now. Right, okay, it's going to be quite square until I branch it out and curve it round. But what it basically does is it takes away blocks and puts them in places that you would have thought it would have been in to make it look more hilly. Okay, so type in BE lift. I'm going to keep the brush size at 10. You can change the brush size by typing /B and then a number. So then, if it's a bit too much, you can always turn it down a little bit. I may turn it down to 5. 5 seems to be a bit better brush. Then Then if you just start right clicking, and for some reason nothing's happening, there we go. Start right clicking on objects and things, should be able to lift up the landscape. Now I will get small underground caves, that's why you've got to lift quite low down as that foundation. It should all equal out and move inside the block there. So if I lift here, there we go. And I've got to do this all the way around, to be honest, because I've got to make in curves and out curves and all the way along the landscape, so it seems as if it's not just one huge straight thing, it's actually proper cliffs. So now I know whereabouts I want maybe the centre to Casey Village to be, somewhere around this district over here, so about 50 to 100 blocks away, and I want mountains all along here, mountains all along there. The way I'm going to do this now is I'm going to type in /B space V, and this here means voxel, and a voxel is a cube actually, a bit more than a cuboid, but either way. And it's set to 10 at the moment. You are going to want to change that. And then right click. And you'll see that's now made an air voxel with a cube down here of 5. You see the reason why I said 5 and not 10, because that there is actually pretty big. /U to undo any mistakes you've done. I'm going to change the material using /V space and then the material, but I'm going to choose dirt. I'm now going to voxel this area into a mountain and then continue talking after I get to another significant part. Now the idea of this here is you are placing what you will be melting down. So the idea here is to make it bigger than what you want it to be, because it is going to end up being dramatically smaller. So it may seem like I put down quite a bit for a mountain range, but really it's probably going to be a little bit too little for a mountain range. Okay, so here and now I have completed what I believe to be a draft for where I want the mountains to be. This being somewhere near the centre, because as the book extract and my plans suggest, they have a few houses that are nailed to the side of mountains. I don't know whether they'll be nailed to these ones. If they are, I'll have to make it a bit bigger. However, they will be nailed, or 1 or 2 are nailed to this thing in the centre. Now, I'm going to start on this, because this is the hardest thing. It's always what people try to make in Voxel Sniper, because that one person that made like a huge archway and blah blah blah. You start with voxels and you make an archway. You do that 3 times, obviously, and add it in the centre as well, and lent it on one side. What you now need to do is to BE melt, like so, and melt away the side of it. I'm going to do one of these whilst talking, and then the rest I'll just put the music over. melt away the actual voxels that you voxeled in so that it seems a little bit more curved than before. So obviously now it doesn't seem so much curved as much as eroded away. So I should do a bit on here actually. Now don't worry too much about how thin you make this now, because now, yeah, I think about now, what we need to do is a different command called BE fill, which should be on your screen now, and then fill in the voxels again. So you break away from it and you fill it. You break away from it, then you fill it, and you break away from it, and then that's basically it. That there is the chain of causality to make something look more natural and more eroded. Is you break it away and you add more to it, break it away, add more to it. So then it still has quite a lot of width and height to it, but it also looks more natural and less like I've actually put down cubes to draft it out. So here melting again, because I thought I was thick enough, but maybe I need a little bit more melting. And make sure you do the bottom as well, because look there, that bottom quite like a voxel. It's quite square, which is not what you want to happen. And that there's not too bad, but either way, I'm going to do this little bit here as well, because that's the conjoining bit. And now, once I've done that, you fill again. And this gets repeated practically for every single one. And to be honest, it doesn't require as much skill as it looks. Okay, so now I've kind of shown you a little bit of the mountain making, a little bit of the archway making. However, I haven't really gone through the mountain making. Let's actually start here, shall we? And that, what exactly to do. So, firstly, what I generally do, rather than melting, is I generally lift, because it gives you a little bit more height, especially if you don't put your voxels that high up, and can give you a good base to start melting from. Because if you melt from square, I think it generally seems to take a lot longer to make a defined shape that looks right if you start from voxels and then melt. So here, all I'm doing here is I'm lifting, which should be on your screen now, and I'm clicking around the parts which look square. No real skill involved at this stage, because it's just basically ensuring that every single bit of the voxel no longer looks like a voxel. And to phrase what voxel actually means, to explain what voxel means, it's the cuboid shape. Okay, so now I'm going to BE melt, and this, I will take it away. Now what you're trying to do here is the same thing again. We're trying to make the seam slightly more natural. Now, don't worry if you end up making this thinner than what you think it is, because you can always refill it back in the same way with the archway. now I'm going to start smoothing off. I didn't really show the smoothing off very well in the ocean, so I'm going to show you here. So we'll type in /BE smooth. I'm going to show you here, because now it's daytime and on the surface, so take a look at here, all the blocks that are all offset, they are no longer there. It's smoothed out the area, so it's no longer got odd blocks like that block there. So I'm going to run this over a bunch of this landscape and get less FPS because my server's crapping out, but and then Bob's your uncle, we should have a nice smoother landscape. Okie dokie, so it's smoothed out, but there is one last thing to do, because these mountains are there, they're all here. The land down here is all completely flat, which doesn't quite make sense. So, I need to do is I need to press my inventory, and I'm going to grab a wooden sword. You can grab any tool you want, and this is going to use WorldEdit now. I'm going to use a little bit of WorldEdit. Now, hopefully I'm going to tap the command correctly. I want to put a brush on, so I tap brush, sphere, and then I want the sphere to be made out of air, and then I want it to be about, let's say 3, shall we? Let's have a look at what 3 looks like. So now I'm right clicking with a sword. I think 3 is reasonable to work with. Basically this here will allow me now to dip in the land, and I can use the lift tool, which is BE lift, to lift up the land. So it doesn't just dip up, it dips down as well. And I can somehow make a sort of rocky, hill-like scenery on this area. And then melt it all down using BE melts, and make it seem as if it was all on purpose. It was all generated by Minecraft and not me faffing about with an amazing plugin. Okay. Okay, I'm fairly happy with the ocean scenes, you probably won't see a good deal of it. So now I'm going to start fixing the water. Now I'm going to come out of zombie fly mode because it goes a little bit too quickly, and into notch create fly mode. I'm going to stand inside of the water, so I'm at 63, as you can see in the bottom right corner. I'm going to type in /fix water. Now this depends on your server. I'm going to try 200. It depends on how good your server is, but it's a radius around you that it'll fix. So that there did 27,000 blocks. If you just give it a second for my server to kick in, or crash as the case may be. Ooh, here we go. Got a little lag then, but it seems to have fixed the water. So this here will also fix flowing water to still water, and will fix gaps. I think I'll stick to 200 because that did lag for a bit. So okie dokie, so all of the water's fixed. So now you'll see more profiles on your screen. There's a profile for beach and a profile for the ocean. They're similar but not the same, obviously. And now you should see the profiles for inland, which don't worry about the desert or anything like that. We're just doing normal mountainous areas. So B over D, and we're going to choose 10, let's say. So we're choosing a depth of 10 for stone. I'm going to type in /V space stone, grab up my wand and go over the entire, my brush size is still set to that, so brush size should be larger, yes, 10 like that. I'm going to go all over the area with the stone, and then we'll go over the area with grass, to make it all look perfect. And then maybe in some of the bits dipping down, I'll add a bit of water. So I'll get back to you when I get to that stage. As you can see, it looks like actual mountains and not just low dirt. A bit of sand there, and they'll head in from there to this part over here, which will be the central area. Well, the inn will be in this area, and the notice board will be somewhere around here. Now, one thing that is missing from this entire landscape is trees. Now, the way to do trees is you type /B space T space tree, and it comes up with a little grey and lighter grey interface, and you can see the different names of trees. So there's tree, big tree, birch, redwood and tall redwood. The redwood and tall redwood are obviously the previous snowy biome only trees. Now my server piece will be crapping out a little bit on this, but let's just see if this works. Right, I've got a log. Basically my server is dying at the moment, or this. As you can see, it actually put a tree down. So I'm just going to do that all the way around, and on the higher bits I'm going to put down some redwood, I think, trees and things. In this area over here, it's meant to be all forest alike, so I've got to put quite a few trees in this area. You can use the generate forest and WorldEdit, but if you want complete control, you can use the Voxel Sniper instant place. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned something. If you want to see more, like this video, and if you want to see more from me, subscribe. Additionally, the music on this video is new to my library, so if you have the time, comments on your thoughts on the music are much appreciated, and all links with plugins and everything else are in the description.